Hello and welcome to another Not Chilli podcast, episode number 9. Josh and I sit down and we talk about the kind of recent now Nathan Fillion fan film, which is based on the Uncharted franchise, which obviously, people, the fans of Uncharted and fans of Nathan Fillion got, really amped about or actually kind of got a little bit more angry about when the Uncharted film was actually announced a while ago and then subsequently taken down. So yeah, we're just gonna batch through our own little opinions about making a video game series like Uncharted into a movie, and what we feel like would be our version of that. So sit back and enjoy. Thank you very much for listening.
Come on. No. 4:30? I'm not getting that today.
That sucks. Mate, they could be on the last in the run.
Yeah, but doubt it. Anyway.
Are we doing this?
Is it recording?
Yeah.
Oh.
Of course it is.
Except they couldn't have that music because I didn't have the license.
I wonder where the licensing comes in and all that. How's that work?
I mean, that's the stuff that they say in the thing at the beginning.
It's not affiliated, like this isn't supported by Naughty Dog or Sony or that shit.
Yeah, so I mean, the entire basis of copyright law is not depriving the person who owns the copyright of income, right? So if I go and make an Uncharted film without licensing and I put it out there and I'm like, yeah, pay me money to come see the tickets, it's like, that's Sony's money.
Yeah.
It's not my money.
Yeah, I see what so it's all completely fine as long as they don't use.
They're allowed to assert their authority to take it down, but it's just like, unfortunately, how powerful American copyright law is completely different to, for example, Australian copyright law, which is very much about deprivation of income as opposed to staunch protection of intellectual property. So, like, when the film industry, American film industry representation, the body that represents them in Australia, was like getting people to be sued over this, that, and the other about downloading films. A judge ended up ruling, yep, that's fine. You can chase after every single person who INET or whatever it was. You have to give the names of everyone who downloaded whatever that was, and you are free to go and sue them for the income loss.
Yeah, there we go.
So the maximum you could get sued for was like $30.
Yeah, the DVD.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
so it's like not even worth it because it would probably
yeah.
cost them $1,000 per person.
Oh, way more than that. And on top of that, it's like you have to find all that information. Then you have to find, like, you need researchers and not researchers. You'd need legal aid and lawyers and all that sort of stuff. So, I think that that's why none of this stuff happens. Whereas in the United States, you can be fined per offense like $350,000, and then the company, whoever holds the copyright on top of that, can fine you or sue you for X amount of money. So it's just like insane. Well, a similar case happened in the United. I think it happened in Canada, and they said a very similar thing, which was, yeah, okay, the ISP can get you all the names, but you have to pay them $500,000 in wages for the man hours that they're going to spend finding that information for you.
Yeah.
And so the studio never pursued it.
Yeah.
It was that thing of like, what is a just outcome as opposed to what is the best outcome for the person suing, which is the whole fucking point of law.
Suing, right? Yeah.
The whole point of law is for things to be just, not not that it works out that way.
Profit.
The legal system is very complicated, but yeah. So it's so that's the thing. It's like if you put stuff up there, no one has the right to tell you to take it down, as long as you're not making a claim that results in you earning from it or gaining benefit from it in a way that you otherwise wouldn't. That's why on a lot of YouTube things with licensed music, like they go, you can't make money off of this video, and we're adding a thing that sends a link to iTunes and Google Play for the music that you've used that you don't own. And that's exactly how you should go about these things. So for this film, yeah, there's nothing wrong at all with what they've done. But given who's involved in it, it's a pretty pointed
pitch.
Yeah, I mean, it's very clearly like we should have done this years ago.
Oh yeah,
Kind
maybe
of
10 years ago. just to be clear here, we're talking about the new Uncharted little short film that was produced, as you said, by
Nathan Fillion, yeah.
Which like the film, I mean, and also to kind of like be really clear here, we're obviously massive Uncharted fans. We really enjoy these games. We wouldn't. I don't think it'd be reasonable to say that either one of us would believe that like it's the best game in the world or something like that. But we very much love playing these games. We've played,
as I've said before, difference between good and entertaining.
Yeah.
They are brilliant, entertaining games.
Yeah. Oh, I think they're also good in a lot of ways.
Oh, they're good games in a lot of ways, but like primarily they're just entertaining.
Yeah, that's right. They're a lot of fun and they're exciting to watch and play. So just
they're already films.
And they are, but we'll get into that because that's what kind of is the crux of all this.
Yeah, I found it. I think when you have a character that you have actually spent so much time with,
15 hours per game?
Yeah, moving him around, playing them multiple times,
hearing all these little subtleties in the way he like reacts to things, his situations, when he gets shot at, all his movements. I mean, you saw me when we were talking. We watched it just a second ago. And this is the second time that I'd watched it, and I was just nitpicking every little moment because I've seen it over the course of, like 100 hours or something like of playing Uncharted. I've seen the way he reacts and the way that the animators made him work, and so everything feels forced comparatively.
I think that I spent too much time both times watching it trying to feel Nathan Drake on the screen.
Yeah.
As opposed to just going, oh, he totally is.
And can I just say, I really love Nathan Fillion.
Oh, yeah,
like
awesome.
It's one of my favorites. Like I wanted when they started talking about doing an Uncharted film with that other actor, that I was like, no, if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it with him. Yeah, right.
That's horrendous casting.
That's right. It's like you pick this guy, Nathan Fillion. Yeah. Absolutely, this is your closest bet. But the more and more I heard about it, the more and more I go, it's not needed. You made a really good point before, and that's when you said, like, this is the film that we don't need.
Wow,
it is a movie. These games are movies in themselves. They do not need to be remade into a different kind of class. It's great if Nathan Fillion, like tunes himself up and gets really excited for like an action movie, and then does a series where he's a tomb hunter. Let's find another genre where he could be another Indiana Jones, and I'd totally dig that. But I think you're right. I don't think taking that license is really important. I think it's lost.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I do know. I think that I watched it and I just went, yeah, good for him.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
And then, but also felt like didn't feel right.
Yeah.
Didn't feel right. And I think it comes down to a resource issue, to be honest. I think it comes down to script and direction and location. That location was that was really weird for Uncharted. Like, I know they go to fancy places and all that kind of stuff, but like they go to fancy places that are like a mansion from 300 years ago. They don't go to just some house. So
what you could have done is gone, the beginning of Uncharted 3 where you're in the bar. That could have been the location, which is fine, but they set it up as like, this is this grand place where this mafia guy or whatever boss guy lives. And it's like...
But I think if you're going into Uncharted, like, go grotty.
Either go grotty or go grand.
Yeah.
Either be in the 16th
I think it's
chapel.
To sell it on a low budget.
Of course, yeah. So then you go grotty. Then go downscale. Go into the basement of a bar. Go into like an environment like that. Don't try to find that middle ground. Go lower. Go deeper into the shit.
So there were, and yeah, that's the issue. I can't not nitpick it just because of what it is. But I don't know. Like I've seen a lot of people who've posted really, really positive things about online, and they're just so happy and they love it. They're like, yeah, give us more, give us more. And my thinking is just with him as Nathan Drake, as long as there was enough time put into the performance, I'd be totally down with it.
Yeah, me too.
I'd be really happy to see that film. It's just the performance was an echo of Nathan Drake as opposed to really feeling like Nathan Drake.
And I like what you say about resources, because I feel like you're right. If you had time, money, and direction, in the sense that you had like a few people really like, finessing everything, and you had the time and the luxury to be able to get that done right, it would, like, it's not needed, but it still would be a great time. I'd still pay to see it because I think it would be fun and exciting.
Yeah. I mean, who's the, like, for example, if you were making an Uncharted film, right? Who better than, what's his name? The guy who actually, Nolan North, right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you get him to do like bodywork training with him and be like, this is how Nathan moves, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, this is how it, like, that's what you would do. And that to me was actually the primary standout thing that made it sort of fall down. I was kind of like, that's not how Nathan Drake runs. That's not how Nathan Drake, like, smirks. That's not how Nathan... And it annoys me I was thinking that way, because I feel like it's so fucking hard to get people together and make a little film and do all this kind of stuff, and then people, like, rip it apart a bit. But I don't go out and make short things based on, like, other people's stuff. I've done it once. But I don't go out and do that. So it's different. Like... you're not putting yourself out there as someone who's attempting to do something from someone else's intellectual property,
which is so hard.
Yeah, it's like how many good Star Wars fan films are there? Like 2. It's that thing of those resources are probably better spent on your ideas, as opposed to doing other people's without permission.
But if this bridges into that, if because of this we get a full feature film that has the budget and the time and the patience, like if a producer sees that and goes, there's $100 million in profit in this.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, right, about all these things, as always, it comes down to money, and I bet you that they have already done numerous like tests and polling and seeing, and how many people would come back going, Nathan who?
Yeah, that's right.
Versus like, oh yeah, Mark Wahlberg, he'd be cool as whatever, but I'm pretty sure they've cast someone else recently, or they're talking with someone, or they're definitely in like pre-production of another Uncharted film.
That sounds like two old producers sitting in an elevator going, hey, would you want to see that? Yeah, what about this guy?
My understanding is that's kind of where it's at from what I've read.
Well, probably.
But like, I don't know. I feel like it's probably a doomed proposition from the get-go, because like, it's like with Tomb Raider as well. It's just games are games and films are films. Well,
remember, if you go back to our other podcast about when we talked about Naughty Dog and we talked about stuff like that, which is an interesting. I'm starting to do this thing where I'm like, why not refer back to other shit? Because we talk really in depth about what's wrong with like Naughty Dog games and how they're not taking gameplay and storytelling into a new medium, and in that idea itself proves that this can be a film, because when you take that and you go, well, what is an Uncharted game? It's just a movie with a bit of people running around in the middle. I mean, we're talking Last of Us, by the way, so it's a whole different class of a game, but it's so similar to Uncharted. Now, why not? Why can't we do that with this? Why can't we go?
Because of exactly what we've just said about that.
Yeah,
you're going to spend the entire time comparing them together. And the thing is, it's not from a book. The difference is, well, this is how I imagined it, because there's a billion different imaginings of that book. The difference with this is, like, you have spent time being that character. Not only have I watched that character, not only have I, read things of that character, I've been that character. So I've moved him. I know what it feels like to move him. I know what it feels like to have him shoot. I know what it feels. That's a totally different thing. That's why to me Tomb Raider doesn't work either. You can't just go, here, these are the things that are in the game and let's put it in the movie. It's like, but I know what she feels like. They're completely different things. That's why I think that people stuff up game adaptations all the time. I think that they should. It doesn't make that much sense to me, particularly when, by the way, you would actually just make a lot more profit if you spent the budget of a film, say $150 million. If you spent that money developing a video game as a AAA title, you will definitely make a lot more money than you will by making a film. But so it doesn't really make
I've got a
sense.
pitch here, though. So I'm just like, if everyone in this situation said yes, could you imagine a film that was a lot more dialogue heavy? First of all, you managed to get the voice actor / like actual actor Nolan North to kind of help Nathan Fillion kind of get the body language more precise. Obviously not perfect. You though Uncharted itself is a big action spectacle, it has amazing dialogue and it has a lot of really good scenes like that. If you nail those kind of things, you get someone like J.J. Abrams on board.
Oh, I think he could pull it off.
I totally think he could pull it off.
But I just don't think that this is the thing, is that we yes, there is in the, in the next dimension, there is the perfect Uncharted film.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, have we seen a video game movie where they have gotten a producer that gets it, along with a director that gets it, with a writer that gets it, with a cast and crew that get it? It doesn't happen because it's about the money. It's not. It's about executing a film that within a certain budget that brings an audience in and gives them. They don't care what content. I'm not saying the audience. I mean the people. The money people behind it, by the way. Of course, the writers and directors and all these people always care. But they just don't seem to care about what comes out the other side, because they know if we put that actor with that thing and there's this many fans, if 20% of that audience goes to see it or 10% of that audience goes to see it, we know we've made a lot of money.
Yeah. And that's just not really going to happen.
No. Oh, but I do actually. I own one video game adaptation. I own Warcraft.
Oh, that's true. I mean, that's all CG. Imagine if you did that.
It's not all CG. It's got a lot of CG.
Oh, okay. Well, imagine if you did a full CG. Nah, that wouldn't work.
Uncharted.
Yeah. You got the Nathan. Not Nathan North. Nolan North. And then you brought that in. See, I think
just make more games.
No, I agree. I'm trying to dive into the hypothetical of, like, this is the fun part of this process. It's not whether this is actually going to happen or whether this is real. It's not going to ever fucking happen. It's just fun to speculate.
If you got the right team together, I think that Nathan Fillion could be freaking awesome.
Exactly. You got J.J. Abrams, you got Nathan Fillion, you give him 6 months of training with Nolan North, as well as, like, just general training, and that's not he's not a young dude, Nathan Fillion.
And also, he's not naturally a slim guy.
No.
His natural state is a bit heavy.
He's a bigger dude, he's always, even in, like, Firefly, it was the build that he was in Firefly isn't even a Nathan Drake
Yeah, he build. Did, in Serenity, there's, like, a shot where he has his shirt off.
Yes, of course.
When he gets out of bed and he talks. Yeah. I just remember that because I watched, like, the special features to death. Fillion. He did 6 months of gym training for that shot.
There you go.
And had a PA as soon as Joss Whedon called print. He had someone bring in Jello.
Yeah.
And he dug straight into chocolate Jello. That's who he is as a person. Yeah. So it's not like, I don't like getting into that sort of body shaming kind of thing. There's a difference between saying that person's fat now or that person's this. There's a difference between that and saying this is what is required for a role.
Yeah, that's right.
Tom Cruise is the level of fitness that he is because of the stupid shit that he decides to do. Like this, he genuinely does that running. He genuinely does that jumping.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle choice, not exactly a role or something.
Well, I mean, for him, it obviously is a lifestyle choice because he does so many of that type of role. But, like, so it's not. We're not getting into that sort of being mean to celebrities for being normal people territory.
No,
we're getting into that. Nathan Drake, if you're a bit on the heavy side, is like a a character that's really difficult to play. It's a physical role.
Yeah.
So that was sort of a thing as well. It was kind of like it felt a little bit sort of, watching an over the hill kind of Nathan Drake as well. But
this is where you got to this is where the fantasy and the funness comes in, because this is where I sit in and I go, well, so you have J.J. Abrams, you have Nathan Fillion, you have Nolan North, you have there's got to be some actresses that would really fit the roles.
You are not naming any screenwriters at any point.
Oh, because I don't know any screenwriters because I'm a terrible human. And you go, you take it a step forward rather than trying to bring him back to his youth. You go the other way.
Oh no, I would totally agree with that. But again, you still would need to be really fit.
No, but you can bring that back. You can make this a more dramatic piece with less of those moments. You can make this the fall of Nathan Drake. You can make this.
You could, and no producer on earth will give you the money to do it.
No, but once again, we're supposed to have fun here.
Right, sorry, I'm a bit too much in the real world.
You are. You're doing what I was doing in The Mummy. You're like, but it's not realistic. I mean, no one's going to fund it. No one's going to fucking fund this film. Or maybe it will. Maybe, like, by some miracle, someone thinks that the dollars are worth it. But I can see that being fun if you take the Nathan Drake character, you plus him another 10 or so years, his kid's gone or something like that, and you make that and could you imagine like almost like a Taken slash like a Taken slash Indiana Jones like kind of film where the motivation is still, okay, I've got to get this, the jewels, the treasure, so I can find the thing for this corrupt motherfucker who was my enemy that has come back from, not the dead, but come back, and now he's like, someone that I owe money to and or whatever, and he has my kid. And so the motivation's different. We have a Nathan Drake who's older, who's slower, who's not up for it.
Yeah, I would love to watch that movie that will never happen.
Yeah, I know, right? That sounds interesting, right?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the older Nathan Drake thing. I don't have a problem with that at all. It was just that I felt it felt like they could have done some cooler stuff with it. But again, I think it was all about resources, right? I'm sure not only was like the location chosen because they could get it, as we all do when we're working. That was someone's house. It had to be near where all those actors could get together.
Yep.
It had to, like, just all those things. So, on the filmmaking side, that stuff. By the way, again, like, the PlayStation 4 group I'm in on Facebook, it's like they went fucking nuts for it. I was surprised. I was expecting to see like a million comments of like, how shit was that and all that kind of stuff, and they were also positive. So I think that there is definitely a demand. Whether or not they make something interesting like is a completely different issue. I would love to see Nathan Fillion headline some big ass movie because I think that he I think he's cool and he seems like a lot of fun, and he sells when he's doing a big fun role. He does sell it, and I think people like him. So
he's a good actor, and I mean he's proven himself. But I also remember seeing an interview with him. I don't know if it's still true to the day, but he always seems like he's just happy to be working. Oh yeah, he's just one of those guys that I don't know how many seasons of The Castle he's done, but he's like, yeah, why wouldn't I like acting and I want to do it as a profession. He's not like, I want the role, I want the dream role, I want to be doing AAA titles where I'm doing this and that. He's like, no, I just want to, this is a cool job. Let's keep it up, And you meet some actors like that, and then you meet some actors who are like, it's all about this performance. I've always wanted to do King Lear, or whatever.
I think there are actors that know their niche.
Yeah, know the niche and just love the craft, because there's a massive difference between loving a role and loving the craft of performing itself. Or just being like egotistical and being like, oh, I just want to fucking be. I love when people watch me. There's got to be some narcissism that exists as well in some people's personalities, and there's no wrong mentality to it, but it will lead you in a particular direction.
Oh, for sure.
And I think I've heard Nathan Fillion talk about that, and so I mean, I'm sure he would love to do that kind of big film, as we can see, because he's producing something and he's kind of leading himself up to it. But
it's such a shot across the bow. Like it's they're definitely like firing off a shot at Sony, and whoever the hell the filmmaking maybe it's just Sony Pictures, but I think that it's definitely a shot like that. And look, as we know, as I was saying before, right? Like, as we have since had confirmed, they intentionally, which seemed fairly obvious at the time, but people never knew. But Ryan Reynolds is the one who leaked that Deadpool test scene. And that's why the film got made. Like, they shot the test scene. As far as I know, the studio was like, we can't do, like, there's no market for an R-rated superhero film. Let's not do that. And so he was like, oh, yeah, okay. And then took a copy and put it on the internet.
Yeah. And now you see why everyone is so positive about this.
Yeah, so I think that's the type of thing that they're going for. The key difference being Fox gave the money for the initial tester in the first place.
Yeah.
For Deadpool.
There was interest.
Yeah. They wanted to know if they were interested in whether or not they didn't want to make it.
And another people that need to be interested, Naughty Dog. Will Naughty Dog, because I mean, if you want to get the perfect writers for this, you need to get the people, like they're the guys that know how to do it.
But there's like weird things, like I don't know where I read this, but I'm pretty sure like he's not even, people go, oh, he was based on Nathan Fillion in Firefly. It's like he was based on like Johnny Knoxville or something, not in terms of voice or character or appearance or anything, but in terms of like attitude.
Yeah.
Which I still don't see. Like, having watched interviews with Johnny Knoxville, he doesn't really.
Well, maybe
I could be wrong, by the way. I might be remembering it correctly, but
it might not be Johnny Knoxville in interviews. It might be Johnny Knoxville on Jackass.
Yeah.
Like, because Johnny Knoxville's character because it is a character in Jackass. They don't, that's not how they live their lives. They do have fucked up lives, but when you watch the third movie, the reason what makes them better than a lot of the other people who hurt each other is that there's a brotherhood and there's a love and there's a family that exists in that.
Oh, yeah.
And so the pain is never, I want to hurt you so bad. It's, I want, like, let's do this together. Let's make this work, And
I think that, in a lot, as a sidetrack, in a lot of ways, that's what makes the third film so interesting, because so many of them have cleaned, like Steve-O is so interesting in the third film. Because
cleaned up is also like I've heard that he's always been in and out. Like, he's a lot better now, but at
that time, like, and I don't think Johnny Knoxville was at that time. So like,
I don't think he still is. I think he's still kind of.
It's it was kind of interesting, like Steve, you remember when they get like shot with the beanbag? That's the one that they're doing, and everyone bails, and then Johnny Knoxville ends up doing it. But it's so interesting to see the behavior of like Steve-O, where you just go, "What? Who are you?" And it's like, because there's no like fucked up shit going on with him at the time when they were making.
I was just about to say, because did you ever see the interview with him? Because he talks about that. He goes like, well, what makes doing it hard now is that like I don't drink.
Oh yeah, right.
It's not my thing anymore. I don't take drugs and I don't drink. I'm trying to be clean, and that makes doing Jackass so much more difficult. And there's part of me is like,
when you have the capacity to think, doing stupid shit is very difficult.
Yeah, your body does not want to do that shit. But I was watching a Hot Ones episode with Johnny Knoxville, which I love Hot Ones, but like, and he was putting something in his coffee cup, and they even make reference to it. Well, they don't. I think they just blur out the bottle, like, because clearly it is booze, Yeah,
but booze is one thing.
Yeah, well, booze is one thing, but like, if you're doing booze in an interview, then maybe it's not just like a problem, and maybe there's a deeper issue that exists. But I mean, it's all speculation. That's not the point of this. The point of this, like, I can see just some degree where Nathan Drake's character comes from, in that, like, with that kind of Johnny Knoxville mentality. I mean, I think it's also a little bit The Mummy, a better version in my opinion when it comes to personality. But it's got a mummy-esque kind of vibe. I think
that's the cool, when you make a game, that's the cool thing, is that because it's a different medium, you can rip off so much stuff. I don't mean that in a negative way.
No.
Like, you can pull from so much stuff, and because you're giving people a new experience, because you're giving people the experience of being that hybrid Jackass, Mummy, Indiana Jones person with this adventure of, Mummy, Indiana Jones kind of thing. You can't get chastised for it, right? It's like, oh my God, thank you. I've always wanted to play that game.
Unless you replicate Ellen Page in another video game, and it's not Ellen Page, and then it becomes this weird. Like, I mean, it's fine. I'm okay with it. But for a good little while, I was like, oh, Ellen Page is in this. They really kind of replicated her quite well. Then I found out it's not.
No, they just base it physically on her.
Yeah, that's right. It's so, like, it's disjointing to see how similar. But I mean, and then you see the voice actor of Noel, who's the main character in The Last of Us, and you're like, whoa, that is not a Noel. That is like a different dude. And he's Joel, you're right, yeah. And he's a different dude in reality, and he just puts on that voice that's so not like him. It's crazy. Whilst Nolan North is actually like he's not a 1-for-1 Nathan Drake, but he kind of I can see it.
He's in that area.
Really, it doesn't just throw me off.
Him and the 900 other video game characters he plays.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's in every single Naughty Dog game post Uncharted, but he always just plays other roles.
He's in tons of other games.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, he's talented. Anyway, so that's so.
Like I said, out there in some other dimension,
it might get made though. Movie. Do you think? Like, I think that like with enough like fandom, you don't think it'll be? I don't know. Like, I'm not against it.
Super happy to eat my words.
Yeah, me too.
Be super happy to eat.
I'd love to eat my words and then be proven wrong about how good this could be. That for me would be like
totally. That would make me incredibly happy.
Yeah,
but no, doubt it.
It's just
it's there's too many stakeholders. There's too much. It's absolutely 100% all about maximizing profit when you do a licensed film like that. It's got nothing to do with it being a good film.
Yeah, and there's also too many players. I mean, yes, Sony pretty much own Naughty Dog. And
I don't think it's so much about the players. I think it's about the number of players who are involved that have no fucking idea about film.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I'm not talking about Naughty Dog and all that. I'm talking about like high up money people in organizations like Sony Entertainment and stuff like that. Not their film side, obviously, but in their interactive media side. And their marketing people will get involved, and their press people will get involved, and their blah blah blah. All those people will get involved.
Yeah.
In having a say in this film, and it'll totally undermine and ruin it, because you can not easily, no good film is easy, but like you can definitely go and make a brilliant, incredible, fun Uncharted film with Nathan Fillion as an older Nathan Drake, and he can kick ass at it, but
time, money, and you need the right people. You need people to all believe in it. Kind of like Serenity. I mean, I know that it's not a video game adaptation, but that film was, in my opinion, one of my favorite films. It's on my top list.
I love it, but when you look at it like from a marketing perspective, it's like I saw it before the TV show. I hadn't seen the TV show, and that's exactly why it failed. Was that I walked out of that film going, okay,
what? Yeah, who are these people?
I don't understand. Whereas, and I understand that great opening. So I love it now. But that great opening sequence where they introduce the characters one by one, all these kind of things, it's like, it doesn't work at all. If you have no idea who these characters are, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And, that's that same thing. So the version of the Uncharted film that you're talking about requires a deep understanding of the characters. The one that they will make is just going to be shooting guns.
Pew, 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 pew. And then with Nathan Drake plastered on. It'll be like that Star Fox game that was not a Star Fox game. Star Fox Adventures on GameCube. Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
Nintendo's one of the few very, very stupid ideas, which was like, oh no, Nintendo has made a bunch of stupid ideas, but that was that's not Nintendo like.
Dinosaur Planet.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was its original name.
Fucking stupid.
Yeah, I think that was Miyamoto, I think.
Yeah, I only played it a little bit. I never owned it.
No, I mean, who said that it had to change to Star Fox? I think it was he has some funny ideas sometimes. Yeah,
true. Anyway, that's it. I thought,
which is how we got the Uncharted short film.
Yeah, yeah, and I think we've said it. There's not much more to digress out of it.
Yeah,
we both love it. We both love the idea of it being real, and I'm not against the version of replicating this. If this makes somehow by some miracle makes all those connections come together and come alive, then it would be amazing
brilliant.
to see. Great, fantastic. But I just don't.
I just totally see some high up person at Sony going, "That's nice."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you
Good for you.
Yeah, nice work. This has potential, but it's not going to ever happen.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's always the stab in the dark is better than no stab in the dark. And it wasn't my money.
100%. Look, maybe he would live his life and die and never have gotten to portray Nathan Drake.
Yeah, that's true.
Now he has.
What an awesome thing to see.
He gave himself that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You know, with the help, obviously, of a lot of friends.
Yeah, that's right.
So, you know, I say good on him, and I hope that something happens, but don't think so.
Okay, that's fair. I'm similar. I mean, though I've been kind of converted more so after this conversation. Now I really want to play Uncharted 4. Yeah. That was terrible.
Good talking.
Yeah, good talking. Or this you're probably going to get to dinner. Yeah. Till next time.
Peace.